Hello, hello, hello. It is match preview time again, and we are previewing the home game versus New England this coming up Sunday, July 31st. We've been on the road for about 3-4 weeks, and we've gotten a couple draws, which is okay on the road, and we had basically a doormat head coach, but now everybody knows we have Christ, and things should hopefully start getting better. That's the optimist in me. But enough about that. And joining us tonight for all things New England is Aaron. For those of you who have seen match preview before, you've seen Aaron, and obviously, he knows what he's talking about. So, Aaron is from NERevsRumors on Twitter. Aaron, say hello.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Of course, I always enjoy our conversations, Aaron, and as a person, I like you as well. So, it's all good. You're more than welcome every time. Anyways, with that said, Aaron, why don't you tell us a little? Well, actually, first, what do you think about Orlando City hiring Jason Christ?
I mean, it's a smart move. He knows MLS. And it was, someone in MLS was bound to pick him up, and Orlando had the need, and I think they made the right move.
Yeah, if it wasn't for us, it was going to be Seattle this week or Atlanta
Yeah.
or Minnesota in 3 weeks. So
Exactly.
Yep. All right. Well, Aaron, with that said, why don't you tell us about New England's recent form?
Yeah, so I mean, it hasn't been the easiest season over in New England, but at this point, we've had 21 games. The second third of our season was the most rough. We gave up 15 goals, but that 14th game saw a change in our defensive strategy. Jay Heaps moved Andrew Farrell back out to his more comfortable right wing or right defense spot. Put London Woodbury at center back, and since then, in our last third of the season so far, we've only given up 8 goals, so we've almost cut that in half. Yeah, so you could probably say that second third of the season thus far was harder. There's more injuries, but I think that defensive change has a significant effect on our improved results so far.
All right, and as you guys can see, for those who are going to be watching this, Mike from Orlando Soccer Journal has joined us. So, Mike, welcome. Say hello.
Hey, how you doing today? Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, good, dude, I'm happy to have you. I've never gotten to work with you before, so I felt like this was a great opportunity with Ron out of town. Anyways, Mike, I had Aaron just touch on his thoughts about Jason Christ to start the show. So, what do you think just about the hire?
Well, actually, I was actually thinking about it just before I actually, joined this. This is my first ever hangout, by the way. So pretty cool. Yeah, no, I was actually thinking about it, because obviously Adrian Heath released his statement to pretty much the community today, and I don't know. I guess when it's that one saying, when the dust settles, you kind of see you have a clear view of what's left. And I think that's what we kind of saw, as the weeks went by after, Adrian Heath's unfortunate exit, right? So with Jason Christ, I mean, you see a guy it's hopefully, I'd be honest with you, I have not been able to meet him yet, because I'm actually planning to go on vacation this week, so I've been just getting prepared and all that. So I've not been out to training, but speaking to some of the guys that cover the team, he seems like a guy that's a breath of fresh air. He seems like a guy that could rejuvenate the squad. This season has not been the greatest season for the Lions at all. This is when I think about it, I've been covering this team since the 2012 season, and this season, I mean, this has to be the darkest season so far for the team, just because all the drama on and off the pitch. And next, you have this guy Jason Christ, who has he has success in Major League Soccer, and for him to come into the team, and he spoke about having some tactical changes be put into the lineup. So hopefully this guy, Jason Christ, could be the man. He came at the right time. It's still kind of early in the season, albeit we have the MLS All-Star game going on right now, but it seems like he's the type of guy that came at the right time. And hopefully I'm optimistic. Most fans should be optimistic that he could turn things around. It's still early. Obviously, there's 1 week when the Lions are in the playoff picture, and then the following week they're outside that red line. So hopefully with Sunday coming, this guy can definitely start shaping a new look, but a better look Orlando City heading forward into the season.
All right. And so Aaron was just talking about New England and how the defensive change has really affected their, final third of these, so their last 7 games, so to speak, over a 21-game stretch, and that's kind of changed their team. So what do you think, would need to be done in Orlando to help shore up our defense? Because that's been a pretty big issue.
Well, hopefully with Haha coming in, obviously it's only a loan, but you definitely need some reinforcements in that back line, because you have Kyle Larin. He's definitely carried on that momentum from last season. So you definitely need some. Obviously you say depth in the defense, but then it's still not working because it's silly goals that the defense is giving up. You can't really put blame on Joe Bentic at all, because he puts in work, and it's unfortunate. When you talk to goalkeepers rely a lot on their back line. I'm gonna dig over to the Pride, because I remember speaking to Ashlyn Harris, and she was telling me, when she was saying when she the first clean sheet of the season, she praised her defense a lot. So just looking at a goalie perspective, that can be said even across over to the men's team, because a solid defense it's key. It's key. I mean, obviously the goals win games, as the cliche goes, but you want to solidify those games, and with Aha coming into the mix, he's been training already with the team, so hopefully he kind of knows how the rhythm and how the chemistry is going to go going forward. So obviously the summer transfer window's open, but I really can't see another defender coming into the team. But with Jason Christ, like I said, he's a guy that's going to rejuvenate the squad. Hopefully he can bring in some expertise and offer some advice to how to solidify that back line, because that's going to be key, and so far it hasn't been key for the first part of the season. If Jason Christ can turn that around, and that'll be very, very solid for Orlando City, of course.
All right. Do you guys have any idea on the kind of changes that Jason is going to bring? Has he talked about that?
Well, I know obviously there's a whole diamond, changing the midfield into a diamond, so it's going to make the team a lot more attacking fluent, obviously. Actually, before I went live with you guys, I was looking at the Columbus Crew Orlando City highlights, just so I can see I can get a little bit of a memory burst there. But to be honest with you, one guy that I feel he doesn't get a lot of credit is Julio Baptista for some reason. This guy's he's probably created 3 or 4 goals so far for Orlando City. Obviously, we saw him in Columbus, and he set up Kyle Larin before Kaká came in a couple times, and I think with that diamond midfield, hopefully we can see a little bit of obviously we have Kyle Larin up top, but if Jason Christ wants to put Baptista into the mix as well, I mean he was playing wide left a little bit during that Columbus game, and and this was in the second half when obviously the Lions were down 2-0, and all of a sudden they rally. So in terms of on what to expect, I mean you just have to solidify that back line and just keep pushing on that attack, because there really isn't nothing wrong with Orlando, to be honest with you. They're scoring goals, they're grinding out points. It's just the defense, unfortunately, and that's been a really pain in the butt for a lot of fans, because you look at these goals that they give up, they're silly goals. You saw the first goal Columbus scored in that that last game, just dribbled around them like cones, and
he did.
It's
like
so it's it's not rocket science, but you have to say something to your defenders. You have to look at some video. You have to analyze the game a lot better and analyze your opponent each week in and week out, and obviously that's where you're gonna get the answers, obviously, and then and that's the only thing you can probably see coming forward. But it's the defense, man, and it's definitely been that's the storyline so far for the season. Apart from Adrian Heath and Kaká injuries, the defense has definitely been, the
bad.
whole, the whole story, another storyline in itself as well. So
yeah, and And Aaron, just kind of further your question. Chris has come out and said that he's not gonna, like, personnel wise, he's not gonna hurry up. He's not gonna hurry in the window, and he's not gonna make a move if he doesn't think it's gonna be good for the long term. So Mike just touched on how he doesn't think there'll be another defender, and the new coach has said he's not gonna bring anybody in if it's not gonna be good for the long term. So I think that's why you see the short loan on Aja or Aha or whatever you want to say his name is, and I don't think that any changes are coming like quick. I think that in the off season, I think we might see some pile of changes, but I don't personally care to speculate. It's not who I am. It's not what I like to talk about. I try to keep it about the game and about the fans. So whatever happens through the front office and personnel wise is just up. God knows, Jason Christ maybe knows, Phil Rollins might know, but I certainly don't. So anyway, we'll get back to it. It was a rant. So your back line's short up once Woodbury's come in. What about the rest of your team? Do you think we'll see the standard 4-2-3-1 from New England?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've the Revs have had a good few games. We've only given up a goal in the last 3 games. We haven't faced the strongest opponents, but I think the Revs are on a roll, so they're not going to try to mess that up.
All right, and so you talked about the back line and who's filling in everywhere else, because obviously I think you see Nguyen and Kamara, but after that?
Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna have Bobby Shuttleworth in goal, Chris Tierney left back, Jose Gonçalves, London Woodbury at center, and Andrew Farrell out right, like I was talking about. Recently, we've been plugging Javon Watson and next to Scott Caldwell at center defensive mid. Javon has scored a goal in the last 2 games. One last week against Chicago, and then one in Open Cup. So I don't see Jay changing that. Gershon Kofi, who was in that spot before an injury, he is back and healthy. So if Jay thinks Gershon is a better matchup to the likes of Kaká or the Orlando midfield, maybe they'll swap him back in. But Javon Watson has been playing so well that I think he'll still be there. And then our three attacking mids are going to be Rowe, Lee Nguyen, and Bunbury. They've been playing well, and Juan Agudelo is out, so he's not an option to plug in there. And then of course Kai Kamara is going to be up top.
All right, and Mike, do you think we see a 4-2-3-1, or do you think we go to the diamond? This will be the first game in the diamond.
I think we might see a diamond. To be honest with you, we've seen the 4-2-3-1 for most of the season so far, and
for most of the last 5 years.
and be honest with you, even when Bobby Murphy was interim coach for a couple games, he really didn't change much of how the formation. And I believe Jason Christ. I mean, the way obviously, like I said, I haven't been out to a training this week, but I try to put myself in a perspective where if I'm an incoming coach and I see a 4-2-3-1 is not getting me those results that I need, I mean, I'm gonna just go ahead and put my Jason Christ this is his first match as a coach, and he's gonna I'm pretty sure fans are sick and tired of draws as much as we see it there. No, we're gonna see a diamond midfield in there. If it's not a diamond, it's gonna be a different type of formation. But it's definitely something that's gonna be focused more on getting those 3 points at the end of the day. I mean, obviously there's the fact that the Lions have been unbeaten at home since last year, so that kind of plays a fact, and hopefully that can keep on going for them. But a draw is definitely not gonna. It only helps you very little, but a win, obviously a victory, it's what you need right now. Obviously the MLS All-Star game's tonight, but after tonight, it's every game pretty much matters now. It's the team has made that goal to make the playoffs, and they had to make a tough decision on letting Adrian Heath go, and I guess just because they made that one tough decision doesn't mean they're over. Obviously Jason Christ is going to come in here and he's going to have to make that tough decision. Obviously, players who are used to that 4-2-3-1 are going to have a hard time adjusting to something else. But, a new coach is in town, and it's his rules at the end of the day. And as a coach, his job is to get the team to understand a formation change and just what's the new objective at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, it's going to be those 3 points. So we could see something like that, a formation change on Sunday. So.
All right, if we see the diamond midfield, how do you think it fills out personnel-wise?
You have Kyle Larin.
You start in the back and work your way up and tell me what you think your starting 11 would be.
So let's say, I'm not sure what Breck's status is. So because I know he's been on and off injury, he didn't play last week. But if we were gonna go with, let's say Breck is gone, right, he's out for the game. Let's say Bod's on left back. Tom Redding's injured, unfortunately. So we have
really unfortunately.
So we have Bod's at left back, David Mateos center back, along with Sebastian Hines right there next to him.
So bad.
Kevin Alston, right there, right back. So Servando Carrasco's been, actually before I get to Servando, I mean, Darwin Seren had a great season last year, but I don't know, this season it seems like he hasn't been able to replicate that at all. I mean, maybe it's injuries because he picked up that ankle injury in Sporting Kansas City, but I'll say Servando Carrasco right there holding it down. People were gonna say, Nocerino shouldn't be, at all in the lineup. Obviously what you see on social media, but so we have but I can see Nocerino on the bench. I mean, I can't see him starting right off the bat. But we have Servando Carrasco right there holding it down. Molino and Kaká pairing up right there, and then we have on the wide. Carlos Rivas had a pretty good game in Columbus, so I don't know whether if Jason Christ saw what he liked, might keep him on. At left and at the wide left, and for right, I mean, who would you put? You can put Julio Baptista. Well, and then again, Carlos Rivas can switch over to the right, wide right, because he's done it before the season. So have Carlos Rivas and Julio Baptista on the wings, and then obviously layering up top. So that could be something that I if I had to do a projected 11, that's something that I wouldn't I like to see, and it could be pointing closer to that. A very attacking team. Get those goals right away, and and obviously the objective is to lock those 3 goals, and the only way you're gonna lock those those 3 points, is by having a solid defense at the end of the day. But only time will tell on Sunday if there's no stoppage time drama like there always is at the Camping World Stadium.
All right, I think that I pretty much agree with you. The only spot where I would feel a little bit different is I think that maybe we would see Higuita in that really holding role. I know Higuita likes to get forward, but I think he's just so. Don't get me wrong. I think Carrasco's game is very tidy and he's been playing very well, but I think Higuita is our best center defensive mid. So I don't see him going to the bench for Carrasco for multiple reasons. I mean, first of all, I don't really want to see Carrasco being the most important player at the bottom of Christ's diamond. I just don't. Personally, I would just rather see Higuita there. I think he's more athletic. I think he's defensively equal. I think he distributes the ball out of the back a little bit better. So that's really the only disagreement you're going to get.
That's a good one. I mean, if I had to do my pecking order in my list of who's my first holding mid right there in the diamond, you could say Christian Higuita. I'll put him in as my first one, my first stringer, and and then I think it's up to Servando and Darwin to battle that second spot because like you said, Servando's been having a really good good season. And I'm not gonna say Darwin Sterling hasn't been having a great season, but it just hasn't been as explosive as last season.
Right.
And obviously with that, his stock goes down a little bit. You have to give Carrasco some credit. So but yeah, that's a good if fans want to know how would you list your holding mids? Yeah, Higuita, Carrasco, and Seren, and that's good depth, to be honest with you, in a diamond. Yeah.
And it goes from 3 guys playing for 2 spots to 3 guys playing for 1 spot.
Yeah, so it's really good. It's another way to or a loophole to more depth because you had more depth when Adrian Heath was there, and I mean, you really didn't see that much success in terms of 3 points. But with that now, you have a solid holding mid with some attacking players at the end of the day, and that's what gets the job done. Obviously, on the other side is the defense, where hopefully, well, then again, Aha, if you think about it, he will be available on Sunday, so I mean, maybe we could see Hines and Aha at center back with
I'd be cool with that. I'm not particularly impressed with Hines and Dale, but Aaron, if we come out in Crisis Diamond, how do you think that New England would match up against that formation?
I mean, I think the I think the Revs will match up relatively well. It won't be more of a struggle than if they line up the same way they've been lining up. I think the weak place for the Revs in their defense is in the center, where Jose Gonçalves really takes the lead and kind of has to make up for some of London Woodbury's inexperience. Because on the sides we have Chris Tierney and Andrew Farrell, who both
Awesome, yeah.
are veterans and are up there for the best in the league.
Yeah,
at their
and Caldwell in front of them is really good too.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, so you think no issues if we lined up in the diamond?
I don't think any more issue than the prior lineup, at least.
All right, and we've had mixed results against New England recently, so I think it should be a pretty good game. At this point, I think we're going to wrap up. We've been going for probably about 25 minutes, so we'll jump into score predictions. It's my favorite part, and then you guys can tell how you can be found on social media, and then we'll conclude. So, Mike, since you are new to the show and I've worked with Aaron before, I'll be our guest and go first.
I'm gonna be optimistic about this because with Jason Kreis at the helm now, and I'm pretty confident that we might see that midfield in full display on Sunday with an attacking side there, and I'm gonna say 3-1. And that one is because it's gonna be a silly goal. It's not gonna be it's not gonna be a problem that's fixed overnight. That one goal that gets conceded, but
so 3-1 Orlando is your pick.
3-1 Orlando. We're gonna see. I'm pretty confident we'll see a goal from Kyle Aaron, Molino. He's been pretty hot. Maybe Kaká. He's been pretty impactful. And then that one goal from New England. I can't name the goal scorer, but it'll be a silly goal. I'm pretty sure, as it's been most of the season. So 3-1 Orlando City over New England Revolution.
All right, Aaron, what's your call here?
Okay, well, I mean, in the 4 games that New England has played Orlando, and in MLS history, it's been 2-2. It's three of those 4 games. So it's tempting just to go with the odds and say it'll be 2-2 again, especially knowing both of the struggle that we've both been having at defense. But I guess I'll be optimistic. The Revs have been better at defense over the past couple weeks, so I'll say 2-1.
2-1 Revs is your pick?
Yeah.
All right.
We might see an unbeaten streak snap then on Sunday if it's 2-1.
Yeah.
Right?
My jury's still out on Kreis, as it should be, because I'm taking this with open arms. I think New England is a bogey team for us. I don't like that like Aaron just said, we've drawn 2-2 both times in April. Were 2-2 draws, one at their place, one at our place. So I'll go with 2-2 just because I'll play the stats. I think it's good. I really think our back line is going to struggle with Kai Kamara, and that's really what worries me the most. So that's why I think they'll get on the board too. I think we'll get on the board too, and we will have another draw. League leaders in draws right now, I think we have 11. So I think this will be number 12. But anyways, Aaron, can you tell everybody how they can find you if they're looking for some good New England information before you go?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at NERevsRumors.
All right, and Aaron and Mike, how about you?
Yeah, Twitter. You can find me at my Twitter handle at by Mike Gramajo, so my first and last name. And if you want to follow also the Orlando Soccer Journal, obviously it's been a kickstart this season, but I think it's going pretty strong so far. Taking a little hiatus this summer, but we'll be back in the fall. But at osjsoccer.com. But yeah, you can also, that's the Twitter handle, osjsoccer. So if you want to
And the
follow that.
website, you gave some free tips.
It's a free promo here at OC Lions Fans TV. So, but yeah, osjsoccer.com. Also, if you want to follow there, we have the schedules, recaps, so and essential news for Orlando City and Orlando Pride, of course, as well. So, and OCB. So, yeah.
All right. And then if you're watching this, you absolutely know who I am, and I'm not going to tell you where you can find me. But I will be out doing Fan TV after the game this week, unless my cameraman decides he doesn't want to come to the game and I can't find a substitute. But I hope to be out there. So that's all for our time. Mike, I appreciate you coming on and filling in. You did a very admirable job for your first appearance. Hopefully we can work together some more. Aaron, I thank you very much also. I always enjoy our conversations. Last, 18 months we've been talking, I've gotten to know you a little bit, and you're a very knowledgeable guy. So that's all, guys. Thank you for your time. Peace out.
Peace out.